Around the age of 12 and 13, I experienced an overwhelming sense of cynicism from my peers involving the childhood stories we grew up with. For example, my classmates scorned the household tale of George Washington and the cherry tree as not true, false, and my personal favorite, misleading. There are numerous such stories. Was it a falling apple that inspired Isaac Newton to draft his Law of Universal Gravitation? Was the original Snow White as delightful and charming as the Walt Disney version? Of course, as children grow older, they become fine tuned to logic and historical fact. It becomes evident that no, the founding father of the United States never chopped down a cherry tree and felt compelled to be honest about it. But this does not dismiss the value of the story's lesson. As a goal, living an honest and principled life is just as helpful to adults as it is for children. So when older children confront us about the cherry tree tale, instead of saying cynically that the story is just something they tell kids, try telling them a little bit about George Washington's character in addition to the truth about the story. When Washington was 14 years old, he composed a list of over 100 pieces of moral advice called the 110 Rules of Moral Civility. In one of them, Washington writes, "In visiting the sick, do not presently play the physician, if you be not knowing therein." In other words, do not pretend to be a doctor when we're not qualified. Copies of Washington's moral advice are still sold at Mount Vernon, his home that still stands in Virginia. By keeping the intellectual dialogue going, children retain the moral of the cherry tree story while learning why the story was told to begin with. People who abide by their principles are admirable and heroic, like the father of America. Stories also help simplify complex ideas. The tale about falling apples inspiring Isaac Newton, for example, was popularized by Voltaire after hearing the account from Newton's niece during a trip to England. As children grow into teenagers, they are ready for conversations about why stories are helpful to children. And even adults who struggle day in and day out trying to simplify complex ideas can find solace through Voltaire's example. So don't dismiss childhood stories. Our reactions as growing children and even adults should be expressed in four beautiful words. Keep the dialogue going. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more.